Welcome to the Agile India 2025 conference, and we are here to listen to Oana give her session about power dynamics and group relations. Handing it over to Oana, and welcome to the Agile India conference. All the best.
Something that kind of missing for that. What about the quality of those things? People investments are valuable, but what about quality? So one of my motivators for about power is that we don't have some kind of quality collaboration and relationship. We don't set up what is already power. So we move on this from different types of powers. So what this reminds you of from power perspective? Superpower, what type of superpower? Structure? Display. So its protection and the power to destroy and rebuild with the superpower. What about this power? Strength. You nothing else has to do not the power to move. Yeah, it's just looking of things of animals. The strength and power to move, ability. What about this kind of power? What? Make decisions. So the one that's on the left is kind of make decisions that people want to do probably. What do you think is the best line of doing? There's something that you say will make you there's something that tells you that they you make it. Yeah. I know that. What about the other way around? What kind of power? Sorry? Thinking? Confident. Yeah, it's thinking about there's something in that your work. Maybe when you start over, oh, I didn't need to do with the power. But if you look at it from a power perspective, okay, so it's kind of confident. Yeah, exactly. There's something about confidence. Sorry? Yeah, I also she's in the car. In the car, right? Calmness also. So there's some authority. Yeah, confidence.
there's the ways that the power influence us can be surprising, and of course many times that can influence it in a negative way. So a power story I like to share usually when I talk about power is the Korean Air back in the 80s or 90s was one of the unsafest companies. I don't know if you know now about Korean airline, but which is one of the safest today. And there was an audit by IATA, so that's the regulation. And what is happening? Why this company has so many accidents? And what they've discovered there is that there's a strong culture of hierarchy between the pilot and the co-pilot and other people, that if the pilot is wrong, the other members of the crew will never tell him something to correct, because hierarchically they don't have the right. So one of the accidents that they've analyzed was something that the pilot didn't see. I think it was a fuel problem. He didn't see that how low the fuel was, and the co-pilot saw it, but he doesn't make any decision. So he didn't say, "Hey, we need to land in emergency," because he should know. He's the boss. He should know, and he just didn't say it. Do you have stories like that?
Yes.
Yes.
A lot in regular office work.
Yes?
Yes.
Do you mind to share it?
Yeah, I mean, people know that things are going wrong, but then nobody dares to tell the boss that things are wrong. Like exactly the things. And then the actual threat happens and lose business, then it's like a crash.
Exactly, yeah. The business going on because it's the authority of the hierarchy. So actually what they've done, if you want to know the end of the story, they completely worked and changed the management and cultural approach so that the company can more, sorry for that. Can be more resistant to failures. But how did they work on it? They work on the culture, the management, and power dynamics, not on bringing in a new shiny framework. So that's why I say, people interaction matter. You really need to also work on that. There's another story, because this is about hierarchy, and I have another story. Maybe I will tell it a little bit later when we'll drill it down on types of powers. That it's not only the power of the hierarchy that leads people to make bad decision or not make decision. There are other types of power that lead. Okay. So before we go, because this is kind of a workshop-y session, not a talk, let's spend 3 minutes, turn with your table, and someone shares freely what, in your team, if you're comfortable, how is power at play? If you're comfortable to share, 3 minutes.
Yeah, I can start. My name is Oana. The power at my team, I've just joined a new organization.
If you are at the same table with your manager, you might not be that
But in my previous organization, it was
you can change the table.
do this. So it was more directive. And you didn't have, even if they would ask, okay, you're open to your idea, give your ideas. And then you give your idea, and they say no. Yes, but. Yes, but. So they were open to listening, but not doing. No, they were open to saying we are listening. They were not listening. One example. Did you manage? Was there any? Did you try to change that? Did you? Luckily, I was also a climber before, so you can play so much is what I realized after a point in time. It took me some time, to be honest, because I believe them, I trust them. And they think maybe they have some good idea, some ideas on how it leads to some self-doubt. And then you realize when you work with other people, like they are actually open to your ideas. And that's where you realize that
time span from the original idea to the election a month ago.
it took me about because then you have to come back to yourself.
They've been doing it teams
How quickly did you realize that was an inner circle?
See, that's the matter because when you come up with that if time and again they keep writing
So yeah, so they once they go check with the
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You use
Actually,
maybe they were not so.
I don't know if you
Maybe they were not so.
realize. I'm much more fancier. Okay. Anyone wants to share something from the group? If you're comfortable, of your findings or yes? That's very powerful.
So I'm from Schneider Electric.
Yeah.
And I'm the program manager over there. So in Schneider Electric, I have been there for the past 6-7 years. So what I have come across is the environment and the line of business I'm working upon. I've seen a very different. I've not seen a dictator or a ship type of boss or the leaders. I've seen a very good leaders who have always open to hear thoughts from our side and even give us opportunities to present any sort of case or come up with any problem statement along with the resolution in order in front of the bigger audience.
Okay.
So that's the best thing about in which environment I am in, and I think I'm fortunate because I've seen many people, many of my friends and colleagues, not colleagues, my friends in different organizations, they always tell that okay, the leaders, they try to show their authority.
Okay, so you said this is me?
No.
Or this is that one. So what you're saying is that there was a power of courage and openness, if I understand well. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
No. I think do you want to go?
If you want, if not, we go further because it's quite a quick session. So.
Hello. Is it audible?
Each side.
Then it's not recorded.
that is better.
Okay.
They need a recording. Hang on.
Yeah. Hope this is audible.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we discussed a couple of cases where where it was startup as well as established companies, and we have seen people in startups. There are also challenges. Even in bigger companies, also we have some collaboration. So it's not necessarily due to the structure. It is basically about the people. and how people are grouping together sometimes as a syndicate, so that so they become a little powerful within that group. So we found that, and how quickly we realize some of the probing, like from the people, like how quickly we realize and how we able to address it.
Exactly, it's kind of a group power, not knowing exactly why the group forms itself around that. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going further because it's quite a quick workshop. And because I want to share you this model that is called Power Intelligence, and I found it helpful for having insights on power. There are two types of power. It's called the personal powers, individual powers, and the social powers. So the individual powers are the power that you have as yourself. If you remember the lady that was sitting, kind of it was her own personal power, individual power. Maybe the lion is the same for us, at least. And the social powers are the powers that belong to the group, that have meaning in a group. And when you get out of that group, that type of power doesn't make any sense anymore. So we will go down and explore these different types of powers. So for example, the guy that was making a decision, that was more a type of social power. Okay?
So, but even the social power is for the individual.
There are two types of, the two types of power is that a power that belongs to ourselves, maybe that will be clearer when I'm going through them. Individual, that belong to yourself regardless of the group that you are in. And the social powers are the powers that are meaningful in a group. But when you get out of that group, you don't have that power. But I will really drill down to all of it. So individual powers. For each one, there are three of them. The first is expertise power. The power that you have by your competencies and the skills that you have and your education. That is an expertise power. Another power that is yourself is the experience that you have. Is the wisdom that you've gained over time. Now, each power could be used in a positive way and in a negative way. The expertise power is that, in a positive way, my power of expertise is to share my expertise, training people. I hope if I have some expertise being certified in this power intelligence leadership, is to share that with you today, and I hope it's a positive. A negative way of using the expertise power is hoarding and keeping to yourself that expertise and that knowledge to show it up when it serves yourself. So keep your knowledge to yourself. Putting copyrights, for example. It's a way if I want to put a copyright on something. Now, of course, expertise has value, and value is money, so I'm not against being paid for my expertise. Okay, so the experience power in the positive way is to put your expertise at the service of the task and say how it can help the task succeed. If we talk about agile transformation, I'm very much is saying someone that says, well, has expertise in change and says, well, put that expertise and wisdom at the service so that program succeeds. The negative way of using the experience power is, my way to say it is cynicism, being cynical about it. Okay, that we already tried, I know about that, back in 1962 it didn't work, it won't work today neither, So having a cynical attitude is a negative way to use our expertise power. And now the personal power is really our ability to cope with life. Resilience is part of the personal power. It's how do we negotiate with conflicts, how we can rise from difficulties, how we know to connect with other people. So this is more really the personal power. So to summarize, 3 individual powers: expertise, experience, and personal power. Okay?
Yeah.
You're good with that? Am I good with time? I can't be good with time. Now, social powers. So those that belong to groups, and when you out of that group, they don't make sense anymore. Group, when I say group, it's a very large meaning of it is communities, enterprises, organization, team. I'm using group for all this, you know, a collective, a collection of people. So the social power, the one is positional power. And we kind of merge positional power with power. The positional power is the power of the role that you've endorsed. So the role has a power. You don't have a power. If you are the CEO of your company, it's the CEO that has the positional power. You as a person, Naresha, you don't have that power. You are the CEO, but the power belongs to the role. And why I love to put photos, and why I put Elizabeth II, because I was thinking of the letter that her mother, I think, or her grandmother, wrote her when she was appointed as a queen. And he said, now you need to say hello to Elizabeth Regina and say goodbye forever to Elizabeth, the young woman, or something like that. So it's a position. And well, I think she was kind of very much in that, at serving the position. Another personal, oh, something happened. Yeah, positional power, it's your license to act. The personal powers, and that's, I'd love to make that difference, is your ability to act. So the positional powers, a group gives you, delegates you to have that power. So you have the license to act. The personal power, you know, making connection, etc., is your ability to act. You remember that when I give the definition of Oxford, there was ability, authority, and influence. So this is authority and ability. There's a difference. And, okay, informal power. So informal power is the power of belonging and sitting in the group. Yeah, I forgot to say about the positional power, but I think it's kind of obvious. As all powers, we can use it in a good way and in a negative way. So the good way was saying being at the service of the role. The negative way, using the role at your own service. I think, is that clear?
Yeah. Yes.
Because time is running. So sitting in the group, it's really the informal power is how, it's the influencer. How can we influence the group? And that's why I said, well, I don't know this person, but I understand he is a star in India. So I put that one. And of course, I also use the example of Gandhi as a personal power, because I think this has personal power, but also he influenced the society. And Agile India, a community, that's a community, so we can have an influence in a community. I could have a Naresh photo, Naresh James photo. So this is the informal power. How you can use, I have another example here today, because today it's interesting. The informal power, it's this power of influence. This is a lady that works for empowering women in France. And why give a shot, she has more than 100K followers on LinkedIn. And this is something, what it's all about social medias, give us the illusion that we can all have that power, social power, being an influencer. And that's also a way that capture our attention. So now, with social medias, we can all have that power, all be influencers, all be bosses. So, being the popular one. Now, again, informal power, you can use it in a good way, so you can influence to do the good, and I hope Nina is doing that. Also, when I gave the example of Lady Diana, somehow, as she was popular, and she couldn't get off being popular, he kind of said, well, if I'm that, at least use it for the good, for the kids. She was walking through the mines, if you remember, that was a moment. So this is a way to use it in a good way, to elevate the community. The way that, once again, the negative way is creating clans, closed community, being the most popular kid in the group. I'm the smartest. I am giving you a talk. So, I am very smart. How do you feel about that? See, that changes. But that's also a way to use this informal influence power to your benefit or for the benefit of the group. Okay? So, and the next one, I'm sorry, don't see, but I didn't realize, is the social status power. So I was in aristocracy. The power that your status you have in that group or society. And this is very much about privileges. And we are all more or less privileged. So it could be, there was an example, if you're part of the aristocracy, you have a social status. If you, whatever examples you have, you know that you have you're lucky by birth to have a social status that is higher than others, maybe. What is interesting, and I wanted to share with you, is that privileged people are mostly always oblivious, thank you, to their ranks. Which means that privileged people are not aware that they're privileged. And that's one thing that makes a problem, that the ranks blinds people to the value of others. Because people that have privilege tend to say that everything that they got in life is by their own merit. So the other people that don't succeed as them is that they don't have that merit. Simple as that. So that's my invitation to you to reflect, is that think of your privileges. We don't have time to do that, but in terms of power dynamics, in a conflict, nearly always the parties tend to take power over each other, because a lot of conflicts are, how do I state my privilege? As an expert, I'm more privileged. I'm giving examples. Hierarchical position, education, age, gender, state of mental health, that gives a privilege. also. So we have a health mental state condition, we are less privileged, neurodiversity, less privileged. And all the conflicts are all about, I want to have a higher privilege, or I want to keep my privilege. And the last thing I want to say about that is that privilege is considered by our brain as a way to survive better. So losing our privileges in our brain means danger, threat of death. So this is why privileged people just want to keep their privileges. Okay? The last thing I want to say here, because I really think that this social power and privileges is important, is that the use of rank causes revenge, because oppressed people, those that have less privileges, either they go numb or they get aggressive, they become abusers. So because people that have privilege want to keep their privileges, the people that don't have, either they go numb and don't stop to fight, either they become abusers violent. So that's the invitation, that's it. Okay, the last things are from this book. I just wanted to give you the reference because I think it's a great thing, great work on privileges and ranks, Sitting in the Fire. But yeah, that was only for the reference that I respect a lot. So social powers, a summary, 3 types, is positional power, the role that you have. Manager is a positional power. Informal power, the influencer, how you influence your group. And you can be an influencer in Agile community. If you go in other communities, that doesn't matter. And the social status power, okay? So, the misuse of power, low battery. This is the misuse of power. Can I talk while do you have one? The misuse of power, unconscious, not being aware of the impact that you have. Thank you, Sophie. And not being aware of the impact. Reactive, take the power over the group. I have the power, so I impose my power over the group. Is that okay for you? Yeah. And self-serving, using power for yourself and okay. So some reflective work that I would like to do with you for 3 minutes, and we have 6 tables. I'd like you to visit all the tables. No, let's put it, yeah.
We can pass on.
Yeah, I will put the personal powers here and the social powers on the other side.
This is for us. This one's for us. Okay.
You need my list.
There were 6 of them, so what I want you to reflect is to have a walk, 1 minute walk, and see how do you feel with each of these powers. So all the powers are on the table, and I invite you just to walk, a reflective walk, and when you are close to one of the powers, say, how do I feel about that power, okay?
If I had that power, how would I feel?
If I have that, or do I have it and I'm not using it, or I don't have it at all, I would like to have it. So yeah, how do you feel? Let's put 2 minutes on that, okay? Please go around.
This is, I'm this one. I'm very comfortable with this. I think this one. Yeah, this is less comfortable.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Do some.
That is my home, right? That's my home base. This is a. I've avoided
Well,
this for a reason.
everyone said that.
Yeah. And this one as well. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, done like this. I've avoided those so far. I don't see any this way. It's very good.
Take your time. Reflect on your relationship. Okay. You may sit wherever you want. And I knew that there won't be time for that, so we won't do a PowerPoint.
Idea was
We don't have much time for that now. But you can connect with me. Oh, that was my timer for the 2 minutes. But you can reflect for 1 minute and write it down. Maybe it's be useful. Each of you, what is the relationship that you had with each type of power? Which of them was easier for you to leverage? And how do you use them? 1 minute. Just write that down for your own self. And I really suggest to write. Writing has qualities, surprising qualities. Are you in there's a break? I was thinking of you. Okay. This was only 1 minute. I have a whole master class on that, so I tried to put something in 45 minutes. So I'm sure you didn't finish, but you can also, if that's interesting for you, continue reflecting that. One thing that I want to say, space positioning highlights power status also. So the way that a space is organized tells things about power. And the circle is, the power is in the center. That's why if you really want to do collaborative work, put people in a circle. Because the word is in the center. There's no guy at the end of the table who holds the power. One thing about me, I'm here. What's the power?
Expertise, power,
I'm
experience.
in a position of power because I have that authority to give a talk. And the fact that I'm here, I would have loved to do that, but I didn't because of all the logistics. If I'm to talk to you like that, does it make a difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does. I definitely prefer to sit with you than stand there and still give that talk. Maybe I will do it for the last 5 minutes. Well, the lenses of power is the way people look at you with their own lenses of power. And one thing is that we are not aware of those lenses. If you have a position of power, people look at you with their lenses, and that could be either in admiration, either skeptical, either in fear, and you don't know that. Having a power creates a blind spot. That's fine. And I want to, let's see if I can do this really quickly. So I wanted to share with you from Nottingham Hill. Do you know that film? Yes. Nottingham Hill? So Julia Roberts is a famous star, film star, and she arrives at the birthday party. This is, I don't know if audio doesn't work. Oh yeah.
This is Anna. Anna, this is Honey, she's my baby sister.
Hi. Oh, this is one of those key moments in life. And it's possible you can be really genuinely cool, and I'm going to fail just 100%. I absolutely, totally and utterly adore you. And I just think you are the most beautiful woman in the world. And more importantly, I genuinely believe, and I believe for some time now, that we could be best friends.
Okay, I will go further with that. So, what are the lenses of power here? That the character, the sister of the main character looks at Anna.
Positional power, social power.
It's social power, it's informal power. She's a star.
Yeah.
And she admires her. So the lenses of power is admiration. Oh my God, maybe we can be best friends. That's one lenses of power. And the funny thing is that I would want to offer you this one. It's a friend of the family, which is a trader, I think, that comes.
What do you do?
I'm an actress.
Oh, splendid.
What do you do?
Well, I'm actually in the stock market myself, so pretty similar fields. Though I have done a little bit of amateur stuff. P.G. Woodhouse, farce, all that, you know. Careful there, Vicar. Always imagined it's a pretty tough job, though, acting. I mean, the wages are a scandal, aren't they?
They can be.
I see friends from university, clever chaps, who've been in the business longer than you. They're scraping by on 7,000, 8,000 a year. It's no lie. What sort of acting do you do?
Films, mainly.
Oh, splendid. Oh, well done. How's the pay in movies? I mean, last film you did, what did you get paid?
$15 million.
Right.
Okay, going back to my. So, you see what were the lenses of power here?
Privilege.
Sorry?
Privilege.
A privileged man, you know, gender, he knows better, very much about himself. Time is up. And is focused on his own power. So this is a way to create awareness about the different way that people can look at your powers, and maybe I've experienced the second where someone looks down at you. Oh, dear. Okay, so when people look at you through lenses of power, you lose your self-awareness. That was one of the messages, and I'm finishing. You'll do it later because I knew it. You don't have time for that now. But if you connect with me, I can send it to you the power print activity. So reflect on that. This is a part of it. It's what's your overall sense of powers in terms of freedom to act, belief, confidence, and what are the situations that you give your power away or you take the power. And I like you to reflect on that and tell you that we are also as powerful as we think we are. And I will sit. You know who this is? Rosa Parks. A black lady in the 50s that sit in a bus for white people. No power. But she has the sense of her own power. Okay. So we are as powerful as we feel. Identify your own sense of power. You know who this guy is? You can't see? So his name, I can't pronounce him. Does it ring any bell to you? He created a company, a successful company for cheap pads.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's from the movie. This is the real person. So we are as powerful as we feel. He felt powerful out of love. You identify your own sense of power. Who is this lady? It's you. I don't know her. It's you. You are as powerful as you feel. Please identify your own sense of power. Thank you. I'm sorry for how much time. Okay, I have 4 minutes. So if you want the PowerPoint activity so you can reflect on all the questions, please connect with me and I will send it to you. Okay? Okay.
Thank you so much, Oana. Thank you. It was really insightful session, and I think we can have another round of applause for Oana. I think there was just one question.
I can, yeah, please ask questions afterwards. I'm sorry.
Yeah, get connected with her now.
And I'm here, so during the break and all the day today, if you have questions, I will be happy to hang out with you. Thank you. Meet your own sense of power.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.